What is going on, guys? It is Sean Don back again for my third technical analysis of the day in a row. Here we have Leah Connors. I think she's the first girl that I'm doing a technical analysis for. So, all the ladies out there, start making gains. Hit me up for technical analysis. Always here to help. Technique is the same for men and women, more or less. Same foundational concept. So, let's take a look at Leah's throw. Overall, the ball movement throughout the later turns is pretty solid, Leah. It's just this, the first two turns, you're just lacking, sorry, excuse me, you're lacking just a bit, technically. And I think if you change some things in the winds and the entry in the first turn, your later turns will just get even better, and you'll throw, like you said, your goal is like 52 meters into meet this year. I think you're going to smash that, no problem. Um, like I said, just gotta fix some things in the winds and the entry. So um, when it comes down to it, a good entry is a consistent entry, and I think that'll help you throw farther really quick. So uh, through the winds, this first preliminary swing, I see a lot of people do this, and it cuts off, so I can't actually see you like bring the ball forward. But the speed of this first motion, before the ball even comes around you in this first wind, the speed of the ball through here is the fastest the ball, I think, is moving in your winds until the entry, until the actual entry itself. So much more slower. Control the ball, go slow, feel the ball. So don't bring the ball so high. The ball is above your head height right now. It's too high. You're trying to throw like Anita Vladarchik or anybody else who's throwing over 70 or 75, 80 meters, whatever. They all bring the ball about head height. I'm not a fan of that personally. I'd rather bring it more, I want it to be less pronounced. I want it to be slower and more controlled, whereas once the ball comes up, it must come down. And then to keep connection with the ball, you have to always keep the ball accelerating. And that's very hard to do, like I said, when the fastest part of your winds is this portion right here. So not just make this first preliminary swing small. Try to make it as easy as possible. And so when I tell people this, they think easy and they do a little bit easier, but I'm talking like literally cut your effort in half. Do nothing in this first preliminary swing. And then as the ball comes through, that you should be controlling the ball at this point. I guess I'm biased, but look at a video of myself and my preliminary swing and my wind, and first wind especially. It's much slower than most people would think it needs to be for somebody throwing 75 meters. So slow this down. Don't let the ball rise so much. Control the ball. And so this is where we need to start changing things in your winds. Start by the ball is going to come straight, pretty much back down in a straight line back towards the camera. What you need to do is start working the ball around you, not so front to back. Start moving the ball rotationally around you. So extend your hands outwards more in this first wind. Once again, refer to a video of myself winding, and I'm biased, but yeah, like I said, I think at least what I want to achieve is what I represent. So extend your hands out more to the right. Your arms should be longer at this point. Think big winds. So where your winds, let's say if you can see your arms, they more or less move around your body. They need to move more like big radius, big circumference, whatever you want to call it. The I guess the distance that the ball covers in the winds, the bigger it is, the more similar it is to your actual turns, the more consistent you will be in the entry, and the more reliably you will be able to find the ball in the entry. It's when people have these very small, fast winds and they go to a big, long, slow entry that they lose connection, and their consistency kind of goes down the drain. And I am a perfect example of this. If you go back and watch my videos back when I was 3-turning at Mount Union from what, 2014. My wines sucked, my entry sucked, and I was so incredibly inconsistent. So, like I said, bigger wines that are more similar to the actual turns themselves will be much more reliable. And I've spent 5 minutes talking strictly about the wines because they are that important. So as you come through, like I said, extend your arms out more. Think about reaching your arms forward, reaching the ball forward towards whatever this thing is. I think it's like some sort of walkway, maybe. I don't know. Reach your hands, get the ball out around here. The step up is a little, I guess the timing's not that bad. Let's watch it. Yeah, just a little hesitant. I would say if you get the ball more out around here and then step up with it as the ball comes forward, whereas right now your hands are so far ahead, and it does come with the ball, but the ball and your hands need to come more together, and the step up needs to come with that. That would help the timing out. Or actually, yeah, your step up is just, like I said, a little late. So use this hip to propel the ball forward, to build energy, to increase the energy of the entire system. So then as you come around, this left shoulder kind of pulls open. That's no good. You want to keep your shoulders turned back to the right side, so open up to 3 o'clock. And once again, keep your head more towards 45 degrees before 0, or about 3:15, or 1:30, 2:30-ish, 2 o'clock-ish, if we're talking time, using the clock as the circle. So keep your shoulders open more as the ball goes left around you. And then, so you see, you do turn your shoulders back and you turn your head back, but if you just eliminate this portion where the head comes forward and the shoulder opens, once again, it'll just make it a little bit more stable. And same thing, bigger winds, your hands just barely cross over your forehead. Your hand should be kind of back more over your head. Comb your hair with your forearm if you've never heard that before. Reach the ball back more towards this cage door. And then bigger winds, and then also keep your hands up. So your hands are going to drop. And they're very close and tight to your body. Like I said, that's no good. Because you're going to go from this to, in the second wind, your arms are going to be extended more. And there's so many things that are changing through here that it makes a consistent, reliable entry very hard. If you don't enter correctly, then you don't do a lot of other things correctly. So, like I said, reach your hands out. Especially, like, think reaching your arm as far out, your right arm as far possible out as the ball comes to 270. Straighten that right arm out. Get those hands away from the body. Keep that weight on that left side, though. You do a good job of that. But you see your arms are just very tight and right by your hips, and there's just no extension. The winds are so small, like I said. And then same thing in the second wind. Your hands just barely cross over your head after your shoulders turn to the front and opens up a little bit. Just stay turned back to the right side. Extend those arms out as much as you can. You see this, there's just a sinking here. You're dropping down, which is not bad. I do it a little bit myself. I'm not a fan of it. I'd rather stay down, so like you're changing your level right here. So your hips are at this level throughout your entire winds, through all of your preliminary part of your throw, and then as you go to enter, that changes and you sink your hips, and once again that changes the whole system and contributes to an inconsistent throw. So sink your hips down right from the start, set your posture right from the start before you even start your winds, and don't change it in the entry. And going back to extending your arms out, extend that right arm out more, let the ball reach out more towards the sector line, more towards the cage, and more towards whatever this thing is, whereas instead it's all left side here. You see, you sink down, you tighten up that left side, you're probably pulling with your lat a little bit, and you're setting this left side up really well. Like, your left side axis is good, but there's just no right side working at all. This right foot has not moved at all, and it doesn't move at all until the ball's already much past 0. So once again, use this right leg and use that right arm and use this right side to propel the ball around the left side. And then since you don't use that right foot at all, this left hip is going to shift backwards and the right side is going to get left behind a little bit. But you can see, so this posture is not ideal. Shoulders are forward, hips are back away from the ball when the hips should be going towards the ball at this point. Drive your hips towards your hands. As the ball comes around left, there's a little head peeking too, a sign you're using that left side. So calm this left side down, use that right side to work it around. And then as you come around, nice flat, so this is good. More or less level shoulders, more or less level hips, that's decent. But this right foot is behind. At this point, it should already be dorsiflex, like I said. This right side gets left behind, so you see this plantar flexion right here. Not using much of that right side, it's playing catch up. And so we will see how you catch. And yeah, so with that right leg being left behind so bad in the entry, you don't catch until the ball is already at 270, which is kind of late for this early in the throw. And you do over rotate just a little bit. So from here, the only thing you can do to keep tension is to pull that left side more, and even this posture here is not ideal. Once again, shoulders are a little bit forward. You want your torso perfectly straight up and down over this left heel. And then once that left heel gets down, you can, yeah, so this right side works a little bit better in the second turn. Once the ball has some initial momentum, you just got to get it turning. You come down flat-footed, it doesn't turn at all, it doesn't turn at all, it doesn't turn at all. It's all left side until the ball gets to just about in line with where your toe is pointing. And then you start working that right side. But because it's just a little late and you don't start working it right off the catch, meaning you should catch on the ball of the foot and start working it right away, that left hip shifts back once again. So that poor posture. This left side is going to shift back. The shoulder stays more or less where it is, but the hip goes back. And once again, right side gets left behind. So once again, if you don't work the right side properly, you have to use your left side. And if you use your left side, the right side gets left behind, and you catch poorly with bad posture, and you catch a little bit late. And then from there, you're just kind of digging yourself out of a hole every turn, and you're not really getting a lot of velocity added to the ball. So right side chases a little bit better, but still, like I said, it's just behind. Solid posture in terms of level shoulders and level hips. But then you catch, once again, kind of late. 270, there's no tension. If you catch too late, there's no tension. And then when there's no tension, you create tension with your left side. And once again, posture is about the same as it was in previous turns. Hips are backwards and shoulders are forwards. And then right side doesn't do anything. Left side does everything. Right side starts turning too late. Left hip shifts back. You finally, so it's getting better now that the ball is starting to pick up some speed and you're starting to use your right side a little bit more. Your left hip doesn't shift back as much and your right hip goes more around that left hip and you're more over this left side. But like I said, I think your third and fourth turns are better than your first and second turn because of all those problems with your winds. It's just too small and too different from the actual turn themselves. So that's why it takes so long to get a consistent feeling for the ball. Once again, kind of explaining your inconsistencies in competition last year. But right side works better now in this turn, so your right side is more with the ball. You can see this right femur is more in line with the ball, whereas before it was kind of left behind. And because of this, you're going to catch. Better positions slightly, still kind of late, just barely at 270, maybe slightly after. You're a little bit more back over this left side. Shoulders are closer to over the heel. Hips could still be more forwards and shoulders could be back a little bit more. But then as you come through, this right foot still doesn't work too much. And that left side does more of the pulling around. And then once again, another kind of late textbook kind of catch at 270. So what's weird is, I mean, you come through the finish pretty well too. You look strong enough. You definitely are strong enough to throw 52 meters like you said your goal is, and I think based on your winds and your entry, like 55 meters is in the tank. And I think with some differences in rhythm and catching earlier, like 60 meters, not to say it's around the corner, but it's definitely, like I said, you have the potential to throw 60 meters, in my opinion. Um, so, like I said, overall, the way you catch the ball, and I think the biggest thing goes back to the winds and the entry, and then catching the ball just at about 270 leaves uh, a lot to be desired. I think there's not much separation, not like you want a ton of separation between the shoulders and hips, but when you catch at 270 each turn and your shoulders and hips are already square to the ball, there's not much you can do to work the ball outside of gravity pulling the ball down itself. Um, and then you kind of pulling ahead, trying to accelerate it, but it's not very efficient. So, yeah, bigger winds is going to be the biggest thing. Bigger winds cover more distance. Let the ball cover more distance in each wind. Start slow, work your way up in speed. Feel the acceleration build in each turn, and you'll have much better connection. You'll catch earlier. You'll have better posture. Um, like I said, if you just change the winds, that'll change your entire throw, and that'll make everything feel so much easier. So, all right, hopefully that makes sense, Lee. If you have any questions, hit me up. Don't be afraid to ask. I'm here to help. Like I said, I think you have the potential to throw much further than what this than what you told me in that email. Like I said, I would kind of describe this as an empty throw. Not to say that it sucks, but it's just the amount of force that you put into the ball each turn is it's not as much as it could be. Like I said, you're just kind of turning with the ball rather than working the ball and letting the ball work with you. So, all right, let's just watch it one more time. Yeah, I mean, I think when you watch the video at full speed, you can kind of see you stay more or less in the center of the system, and the ball moves around you, which is great. You just got to catch earlier and use those work phases, work the ball better, and you could definitely crush your goals, 100%. So, yeah, keep me posted because I definitely want to see your progress. I think you're gonna do great this year if you can employ these tactics that I have talked about. So, all right, if you guys want a technical analysis of your own, go to SeanDonnelly.biz. Go to the services page, Instagram technical analysis or in-depth technical analysis. Your pick, $5 or $15. Skip out on a Chipotle burrito or two and figure out what you need to fix technically to set some PRs and break some records and win some gold medals. So, all right, thanks for watching. Sean Don, peace and out.